Off-roading and overlanding aren't just about big tires and rooftop tents, it's the little things that often make or break the trip. After spending enough time on the trail, you start to realize it's not just about how capable your rig is, but how well you prepare, how you drive, and what habits you build along the way. Some of these tips we learned the hard way, others came from watching seasoned folks do it right. So here are some practical, real-world tips we think everyone should know before heading off the pavement. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let's begin. Now, this is something very simple and silly, yet most people don't do that. When you're on tight, tricky trails, steep rocks, narrow ruts, or weaving between trees, guessing where your rear tires are tracking can easily become the most stressful part of the drive. That slight uncertainty leads to hesitation, and sometimes worse. And the one adjustment that helped us in most cases is tilting the side mirrors down to get a clear view of your rear tires. Let's be honest, we've seen experienced drivers get hung up forgetting their back wheels track tighter turns or follow a different arc than the fronts. Practice keeping an eye on where your rear tires go, not just your fronts, especially on sharp turns or ledges. This skill alone lets you get through the trickiest obstacles unscathed. It's a subtle trick, but seeing exactly how your wheels move against the terrain gives you far more control when placing them around obstacles or lining up a tricky descent. Instead of relying on instinct or a spotter, you're reading the ground yourself in real time. We think that alone takes a lot of pressure off. It's one of those changes that makes you feel more connected to your vehicle, especially when every inch matters. It's easy to feel prepared once you've downloaded an offline map, but here's something we've learned the hard way. Unless your navigation app supports full offline rerouting, you're still not covered. When trail conditions change, weather shuts things down, or a forest road turns out to be washed out, being locked into a preset route doesn't help very much. We'd say that's where apps like Gaia GPS or devices like Garmin Overlander and a few others make a clear difference. They don't just let you view maps offline, rather they let you rework your route completely without needing a signal. You can drop new waypoints, trace alternate paths, and recalculate right there on the trail. And according to our experience, it's more practical and gives you peace of mind. You're not wasting fuel, backtracking, or guessing which direction will reconnect you. In our opinion, once you've had to make a real-time change without service, this becomes less of a bonus and more of a must-have. It's one of those things you don't think about until it matters, and then you wonder how you ever relied on anything else. One of the most common oversights we saw in rear drawer type fridge setups is poor cord management. It doesn't take much. One slide too far, a sharp edge, or a tight bend, and you've got a sliced cord or a damaged plug. And it usually happens not because the gear is bad, but because the cable's fighting against fixed mounting or getting tugged in the wrong direction. A simple solution that's worked well for us is zip tying the power cord to a pivoting D-ring or soft loop near the slide. That little bit of flexibility lets the cord move naturally with the fridge or drawer instead of resisting every pull. It keeps tension off the plug, reduces wear at stress points, and most importantly, stops you from replacing a perfectly good cable or fridge because of a $5 mistake. It's not something most people talk about, but if you've ever had to patch a sliced cable mid-trip, you already know why it matters. If you're still relying only on steel shackles for recoveries, you're probably carrying more weight and more risk than you need to. Soft shackles, usually made from ultra-strong materials like Dyneema, have quietly become a go-to among experienced off-roaders, and for good reason. They're lighter, easier to pack, and don't rattle around or chew up paint and bumpers. But more importantly, if something fails under load, they're far safer, as they'll just drop instead of shooting right at God knows where. They're also more versatile. You can wrap them around odd recovery points, link straps in awkward spots, and they float in water crossings, which steel won't. They take up almost no space, weigh next to nothing, and can handle real trail abuse. In our opinion, Soft shackles are one of the most practical upgrades you can make to your kit. Use them once, and it becomes real clear why more experienced folks rarely leave without a few. We'd say one of the most common and avoidable camp annoyances is catching your foot on a guy line at night. It's usually just a mix of bad angles, hard to see cord, and poor placement. A simple fix we've picked up over time is switching to short colored paracord for awning guy lines and staking them out almost straight from the anchor, not wide and wandering across camp space. That one change does three things right. It reduces the chance of tripping, it tightens up your setup footprint, and it makes things easier to spot in low light. In case you want to make that even better, we'd recommend adding a strip of glow-in-the-dark tape or reflective heat shrink at the tail end. Sounds small, but after the second or third late night stumble, it's one of those upgrades you wish you'd done from the start. Simple, clean, and worth it. A lot of people secure gear on the roof, in the bed, or out back, but forget what's rolling around inside the rig. In a sudden stop or rollover, even mid-size gear can turn violent fast. A toolbox, recovery bag, or loose jack can do real damage if it flies forward. It's one of those safety oversights you don't hear much about until someone gets hurt. Adding a few low-profile anchor points inside the cargo area solves that without much hassle. Screw-in D-rings, cargo tracks, or even strap loops and key spots let you tie down heavy gear properly, keeping your setup clean and safe. In our opinion, it's a simple but high-impact move that keeps the inside of your rig as secure as the outside. Technical crawling isn't just about traction, it's more about control. And in spots like that, we found left foot braking to be surprisingly helpful. It's as simple as gently working the brake with your left foot while your right stays soft on the throttle. Sounds a bit strange at first, especially if you've only ever driven with one foot, but with a little practice, it starts to smooth things out in a way that's hard to ignore. The biggest difference to us was less bounce, more grip, and fewer jerky throttle reactions while crawling slow. It helps settle the rig, keeps the tires working, and gives you more control over how the vehicle loads up on tricky terrain. We're not saying it's a must for everyone, but once it clicked for us, it stuck. It's just one of those quiet techniques that shows its value when things get rough. Traditional comms like push-to-talk radios or even basic cell service can fall short when you're deep into the backcountry. Coverage gets patchy, and radios only go so far. That's where overland-specific tools start to pull their weight. Platforms like Garmin or Zaleo don't just offer satellite messaging, they also tap into real-time trail forums and support threads built around where you actually are. We've seen cases where people ran into trouble and got help, not from someone back home, but from another traveler just a few miles out, because they were plugged into the right network. It's not about ditching your usual contacts, but expanding your reach to people who are already nearby and know the terrain. In our opinion, if you're serious about remote travel, connecting your emergency comms to a live, location-aware community isn't just smart. It might be what gets you out quicker when things go sideways. Keeping track of your own maintenance is one thing, but when you're traveling in a group, it becomes a lot more than just personal responsibility. One method that's worked well for us is setting up a shared cloud-based log, something simple like a Google Sheet that everyone in the group can access from their phone. It's not fancy, but it lets everyone log the basics, oil changes, tire rotations, mileage, and small fixes that might otherwise get forgotten. The benefit is, when you're planning a stretch of remote travel, you can quickly glance through the log and spot if someone's overdue or dealing with a lingering issue. No guesswork, no awkward surprises 100 miles from help. In our opinion, it's one of those low-effort habits that can quietly prevent breakdowns and keep the whole group moving with less stress. You don't need to be a mechanic, you just need to keep the info out of your head and somewhere the team can see it. Water is one of the first things you start rationing once you're deep into a multi-day trip, and that's where these two small swaps start to make a lot of sense. Wet wipes and pressurized water bottles might not sound groundbreaking, but they're quietly game changers for no-trace cleaning. Whether it's washing up after wrenching, knocking mud off your gear, or doing a quick dish rinse, these tools help you get it done without dumping gallons or making a mess around camp. We found that using a squeeze or aerated spray bottle gives just enough pressure to clean effectively while using way less water than pouring straight from a jug. And when a real shower isn't an option, a quick wet wipe scrub gets you through another day without feeling like a total mess. In our opinion, It's a practical combo that keeps you cleaner, conserves your limited supply, and keeps your camp footprint tight, even when you're way out there. So that was our video on 10 tips for off-roading and overlanding everyone should know about. Thanks for watching. Let us know your favorite tip or trick in the comments section, as we'd love to hear from you. And as for everything else, don't forget to like, comment, and share, and hit the bell icon if you want more content like this on your feed.